Welcome to the Bait Boys podcast, the podcast where the fish are fake, the pain is all too real, and the therapy, well, it's not working. My name is Jesse with Freek Baits Custom Fishing Lures, and as always, I am joined by my stupendous co-hosts, Trevor from Peak Baits and Anthony from Lazy Baits Co. Gentlemen, how are you this fine evening?
I'm full of energy. How you doing?
Same. I am jacked up on Mountain Dew.
You look well rested, buddy.
I have had so much sleep in the past 3 days that it's like if I sleep anymore, I'd be dead. Anyway,
I'm well.
Enough about me. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. In case you haven't noticed, it's just the boys this episode because you know what, we like it that way sometimes. We just want to hang out, shoot the bull with each other, and talk about some bait making stuff. So that's exactly what we're gonna do this episode. We have got a very interesting topic to talk about when it comes to bait making, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But first, we have some announcements to make. And I think all of us have some announcements to make. So I will start by letting you know that we still have our spooky season merch available. It is now October as of this episode airing. And what better time to pick up some Bait Boys spooky themed merch? We've got hoodies, we got t-shirts of all different colors. And if you don't like to buy the Halloween themed stuff, we've got all of our normal logo stuff on there as well. So go check it out. Link down in the description. Buy you some Bait Boys merch, Halloween or non-Halloween themed.
We should throw Joe up on the screen with his studly picture. That was the best picture I've ever seen.
I'm going to throw this picture up right now and look at this man. Look at this specimen
He's
of
chilling,
masculinity.
Just chilling in his Bait Boys Halloween merch, just sipping on some straight, what is it, whiskey? It was Green River? Bourbon? Just straight bourbon, chilling, making baits. Can't beat it.
I don't think I've ever seen more testosterone in one photo.
No. He is full-blown man.
Absolutely. So if you want to look as good as Joe from Bait and Tackle does, grab you some Bait Boys merch and a rocks glass and a coffee mug. I've got a coffee mug on the way. Should be here soon.
Nice. I got one too. My Saturday.
We got all kinds of stuff. We got all kinds of stuff on there. So I'm sure you can find something that you like.
And don't forget that we don't want them to forget that they too can be man.
You too can be a man.
Close to Joe.
Close. I don't think you'll ever get there. There's some, there's some background work done there first, but maybe you can get close. I know I'll never get close, but maybe you can. But yeah. So Anthony, I think you got some exciting stuff coming up, right?
Yeah. So let's see if I can get it in focus like I did before. So me and Hunlores are releasing molds for this craw, which is currently unnamed. So I'm going to call it the Cripless or the Crapless, Craw Lipless.
Crapless. I like that.
And molds for it.
Ooh, boy. You can make your own Crapless.
You can make your own Crapless, Cripless. Yeah. And it's another one. The way he designs them, this took like maybe 3 minutes to paint because it was just black wash, blue, orange, brown, red, and you get all that detail. So that'll be up on our website if you want to grab. I might have blanks, definitely have molds. Yeah, I'm excited.
That's awesome. Oh, that's exciting. Trevor, what do you got going on right about now in the future?
I didn't freeze. I just did that. So, I have 10 days left of round 5 for the Peak Baits Catch and Win. So I want need everybody to listen to that little man that's not swimming, head to the peak and send me your entries.
Let's go. I'm getting on there. I'm winning this time.
Oh, you're already on there. 7? I think that's more than you've entered all of 25. Ever. Yeah.
You got 7 entries already? I got to get to work.
I would have had 9, but my SD card got wet. I can't get the video off of it. I think it broke. The creek shot, dude, right now, they're crushing it. Like, you can work that thing so nicely. Nice and slow. Nice little glide. Yeah. Bob and Panfish Poppy, I'm coming for you guys.
Going after him. Good luck. beating either of those guys. But again, it only takes one.
Nope.
Even though you told me that whenever I only had one entry in round 4, I didn't win.
I need more.
Well, hopefully.
I really like the rounds, like how you're doing it. It's a lot of fun because it creates a nice, fun, competitive atmosphere. Like you see people enter and you follow your page and see Bob's getting a catch every other day, and then there's new faces showing up. You got people catching freaking gar.
I know. All sorts of stuff this year.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I dig it.
Well, guys, I think it's time that we rip the Band-Aid off.
Get it over with, Jesse.
Yeah. So this is episode 20, and we've been putting out an episode a week for 20 weeks now, with the exception of that 2-week period where we didn't have one. We talked about it before. We won't talk about it again. Riverside. And it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. We love doing it, but I think that we are going to close this out after episode 25. Yeah, I think episode 25 is going to be the last episode of the Bait Boys podcast for season 1. And then we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back bigger and better than ever in season 2. I think we came to the agreement we're going to take 4 weeks off after episode 25, but don't worry, I'll still be working. We'll still be pushing out content. Some best of stuff, some funny stuff, some of our best segments, things like that. Anything from season 1 that we think may be interesting to you, or hell, let us know in the comments. What do you think would be a good idea for a compilation video that we can post during those 4 weeks that we're taking off? Yeah, we're not done by any means. We're just taking a brief break, and I think that's a good format for us to follow going forward. Each season is going to be 25 episodes, jam-packed full of awesome bait-making glory and amazing guests and Batman. But yeah, and then we'll just take a little break in between so that Jesse doesn't get burnt out.
It's not just you.
Yeah. I
think we could all use it. And don't post too much on our in between, because we got to come back refreshed, man. Like 20 weeks straight is a lot for anybody to do anything. And as much as we love it, like you said, it becomes a lot. And then you start getting to the point where it feels like, working, and you're like, all right, let's take a break and we'll come back even better, because we come up with ideas on the break. And I think season 2 is going to be exponentially better. Yeah,
I think so too. We've already been brainstorming some ideas. We've been having some conversations with some people that we're not going to get into detail right now, but just some exciting stuff on the horizon for season 2, bigger and better than ever. And then who knows, maybe by season 3 or 4 or 7, we'll be able to afford to hire an editor, and then we don't have to take breaks anymore. We can just let somebody else do all the work, and we just sit and BS for an hour on every Thursday.
Isn't that called an intern or something like that? If you know somebody who wants to apprentice with the Bait Boys podcast as an editor, tell them to message Jesse. He'll give complete control. He's good at, just letting people do things. So yeah, it'll definitely work out.
I'm so good at that. That's my favorite thing to do, is to
let other people help
doing this stuff. Yeah, to let other people help me. I'm so good at it. No, I'm not. But I mean, maybe someday, whenever we've got a clear format, when we know exactly what this thing's going to be, I can, instead of spending all my time editing, I can spend all my time reviewing the edits and making sure that whatever stupid intern we hired didn't screw it up.
Hire.
I'm just kidding. I don't really treat people like that. It's just except for Anthony. Just Anthony. I got a special place in my hatred for Anthony. Oh, heart. I meant to say heart. I'm sorry. I say heart is what I meant. But yeah, so this is episode 20. We've got 5 more episodes. We're going to try to do, I don't know what, we haven't discussed it at all, but we're going to try to do something bigger for our season finale. We're going to try. That's why I'm saying that, because I don't know what, like it was literally just a comment in the chat. We need to go big for episode 25, and everybody liked it. It's like, Yeah, and that's all we discussed. So we'll figure that out though, and try to do something special for the final episode of season 1 of the Bait Boys podcast. And oh, what a season it has been. We've had some awesome guests. We talked about some awesome stuff. We've done some incredible giveaways, did a challenge. You know, I didn't plan on doing a season in review for this episode, so we'll save that for some other time. But yeah, so I'm excited both for the growth and the evolution of the show, as well as to get a little bit of a break. Yeah, I think it's good. And I think people are going to love, if all the stuff that we're planning and talking about now comes to fruition, I think that people are going to love it. It's, exciting stuff. We can't really share any details at all because we don't have a whole lot of details. We just got discussions. That's about it. And so we don't want to count any chickens before they're cooked or whatever. But yeah, so that's all the announcements, I think. That's probably our longest announcement segment. We had a lot to talk about. A lot of cool stuff happening. So now it's time for yet another installment of my favorite and your favorite segment. Let's be honest. Trev's the favorite. That's just how it works. And that is Let Trev Cook.
All right. So as we continue our search for the greatest fishing spots here in the armpit of the United States, Connecticut, I do take great pleasure in showing these to you all. So once you stop in Peak Baits, you know where you can go after.
All right.
To the armpit.
That's pretty good smallmouth.
Oh, shucks, I lost my bait.
You lost your bait.
Yeah, shucks, I'm gonna have to get a new bait.
Hey, Gary, you just lost your bait on a 3-pound smallie. I got something for you. You want to level up your game? Put the Senko aside. First things first, we're going to talk about how to get into the mode, the zone, the feeling of wanting and being able to target big bass. Now, everybody hears big baits catch big fish. So, with that being said, I want to introduce the newest bait Peak is going to drop in 2026. It is called the Topwater Pylon. Now, comes with a line tie, 1/0 hooks, and a flashy little Colorado in the back for that boom, 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 boom. And when you're hunting trophy caliber bass, let me make it very known, you need to think like trophy caliber bass and go to where trophy caliber bass are. We're out here hunting. You can see, I even had to recruit some help. She's out here helping me hunt. And in order to hunt, we got to get in the hunter's mentality. Whoa, you see that? Almost lost the phone there. As we're out here hunting, you also got to be tracking.
Coyote poop.
That's what we're guessing. Petrified coyote poop. Specs again. Line tie. Pretty cool. 1/0 EWG short shank trebles. 2 of them. And not to mention that flashy Colorado in the back. Who doesn't like to get... Well, that's another podcast.
Dude, you got a legend on your side.
Wow.
Well, I found his evidence. So, I had to reach out.
Is that what we call leverage?
Blackmail?
Now?
Yeah, leverage.
Leverage. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see what happens next, but we'll have to wait for the next installment. I'm leaving that in of Let Trev Cook. Maybe we should just start doing the Trev's theme song with our mouths at this. Just yeah. And Trevor, you need to pop up from the bottom of your screen like it does in the intro.
Okay.
And then, we'll just do that part live from now on. That's just one less editing step I have to do. But
right.
We do not have a guest this week. But that does not mean that we don't have a giveaway, because we absolutely do. We have a giveaway from a previous guest who was so kind as to send us something after we recorded the episode to give away to one of you lucky viewers. And that is Matt. This is actually Matt this time.
Bro, I'm not even touching any.
Now there's 2 frozen Anthony's. Anywho, as I was saying before, we were so rudely interrupted by Anthony's terrible internet connection. We don't have a guest this week, but we do have a giveaway. And that giveaway is from a previous guest who's been on recently, and that is Dr. Glidez himself, the real Matt, or a real Matt. We've had several Matts. We know several Matts, but the reason I called our next 2 guests Matt Gifford from Giff Glidez, after his episode, he was so nice as to send us an awesome bait to give away to one of our lucky viewers. So this week's giveaway, you can win one of these 4-piece bangers.
Very cool.
That thing is so sick.
And I had to ask him who painted it because all I saw were the initials. And as we all know, I don't know anybody. So let me find that 1 second. Painted by Chad Fleer from Council Bluff Crankbaits. And this beautiful pink and gray and white and shiny and awesome pattern. This thing's a monster. It's a good sized bait. This glide from Giff Glidez can be yours. All you have to do is go to, oh wait, no, that's not all. It doesn't have hooks on it, but it does come with hooks and split rings. Those are stored separately. And then you get also these 4 sweet stickers, with various types of Giff Glidez baits.
That Toad Rage. That's a sick bait. I have one of those.
But yeah, got the EKG, the Toad Rage, the Jawbone Crankdown, and the Jawbone Wake stickers. All you have to do is go to the Bait Boys Podcast Instagram and find the pin post. And it's the exact same as we've been doing it all along. You have to like the post, follow Bait Boys Podcast and Giff Glidez on Instagram, and then tag as many people as you are willing to in the comments. 1 comment per tag. Each tag equals 1 entry, and there is no limit. So tag as many people as you can. We will run the entry period through this coming Friday, which should be, if I'm not stupid, the 10th. We'll run it through the 10th, and then we will announce 1 lucky winner on Saturday, the 11th, in our Instagram stories. So simple as that. Go to the pin post, follow all the instructions there, and that's it. That's all you got to do to be entered, and you could win this sweet glide from Giff Glidez. Thank you, Matt and Giff Glidez, for sponsoring this week's giveaway. It's a good one. I want one of these. I'm going to have to buy one. I was telling Trevor while we were waiting for Anthony's computer to come back online. I've been so tempted to throw this thing. It's been sitting here for a little while. I'm like, if I just make a couple casts with it, nobody will know, but I didn't. Because it's going to one of you.
Send it out with weeds still stuck in the joints, and like, oh, that's how it
Bunch
was.
of hook rash. Yeah, that's how he sent it. I don't know. He doesn't take very good care of his clear, I guess. I mean, no, the clear is perfect on it. And again, painted by Chad Fleer from Council Bluff Crankbaits. So thank you, Giff Glidez and Chad, for this sweet little morsel right here. I say little, it's what, 7 inches?
A good size bait.
Way too big if you ask me. Anyway, but yeah, we are going to get into our main topic slowly but surely. But first, I have just a little surprise for my fellow bait boys here. As I've been talking about for months now, been working on a mini glide, and we've officially reached the beta testing phase. I've done all the alpha testing, which is just me refining it to as good as I can get it. But I'm calling in some help for the beta testing. And the first 2 people to receive one of the Freek Baits probe mini glides are not you guys. No, not at all. Never. No, it's you 2.
Oh, goodbye again.
And I have them all painted up and cleared and sitting right here next to me.
Ooh.
Do you want to see them?
All right, dude, come on, let's go. Show them off.
So,
enough with the teasing.
Anthony, I did ask them what they wanted, how they wanted them painted. And Anthony immediately responded, golden shiner. And I'm like, okay, I've never done a golden shiner before, so it kind of looks like one. But here's Anthony's.
Oh,
Ooh.
look at that.
That thing is so sick.
I'm covering the whole thing.
What a
But yeah,
piece of art.
I didn't
You know
have
why
any
I went with
eyes.
golden shiner?
Why?
Because the lake where I caught my PB like over and over is loaded with golden shiner. So I did it for you.
Oh, well, I
I'm gonna-
appreciate that. It was
I'm
fun.
gonna
I just
hang
never
a-
done one before.
Hang a 8-pounder off of it.
Nice.
I sure hope so. It will come with hooks. I just haven't put them on yet, and the tail isn't even glued in yet. I literally pulled them out of the UV box and slapped them together before we started recording. But yeah, there's Anthony's. Does that look like a golden shiner? That's I tried real hard.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what they look like. I just know they're
Yeah.
in there.
Well, they definitely
And
don't
they're
have this
gold.
style of eye. They don't have this style of eye, but I didn't have anything close. I need to make a new dead meat order, but yeah, they are dead meat custom eyes. And then Trevor asked for bone and a shad dot, and I couldn't just leave it at that. I mean, that's what you got, but I had to freak it up a little bit. So there's Trevor's.
I like that.
Damn, dude.
You can't really see it on there, but it does have scales. You'll probably be able to see it in the recording, but it does
I
have.
can see it a little bit.
Yeah,
I like
it's
it.
got. I figured out how to make bone metallic,
You did
and
some
it's got bone
incredible
metallic scales.
work.
It does.
But there is Trevor's. Got the bloodshot eye in there, and yeah, I did do a little bit of dark on the head, little bit of color
It looks
variant there,
amazing.
and then it's not really a shad dot, but these fins right here lent themselves well to putting a dot where a shad dot would be. So yeah, so those are most likely tomorrow going to be on their way to you. I'm going to take them out and water tune them first to make sure that they're perfect, in my opinion, before I send them out. But I'll try to get that done tomorrow and get them on their merry way up to the Northeast, up to the New England area to their new homes. And there's a couple more going out to a couple other people. I'm still making those, but you are the first two, other than me, that are going to have a probe. So I appreciate you being
cast it right into a tree.
well. Durability is part of beta testing, so
I'll have to come back with the chainsaw, cut the tree down.
Right?
first cast. Just don't snap it off.
They look awesome. That's crazy.
Thank you. It's been a
really
long,
do.
which I know it's not really been that long since I started this, but it's been long in my opinion because I'm a very impatient person, and I feel like it's all I've been working on forever. And I'm very happy with where they are right now. But I do trust the two of you, which is why you're getting the first ones, to give me honest feedback. If it sucks, tell me. Just don't post it. But yeah, and the reason I wanted to do this here and show this to you guys here because it leads perfectly into our topic of discussion for this podcast. And that is, you've just designed a bait. You're trying to figure out if it'll work. And if it doesn't, how do you make it work? Also known as dialing it in, right? There's a lot of things you can dial in, but yeah, we're going to talk about dialing in baits because
It's like
it's a
it's
process.
like the most difficult process just under clear coat.
Yeah, just under clear coat, which these are not the first two fully completed probes to exist. I do have one other one that I made for myself, and that one was a clear coat nightmare. But it's mine, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, clear coat's terrible. But clear coat's terrible because it's constant. At least with dialing it in, you may stall out a few times on trying to figure it out, but you usually always get there. Or you put it on a shelf and come back to it 8 months later and finish it then. Or just forget about it and say, nope. But yeah. So I want to take just a quick second to talk about it from a wood bait perspective, because I've said it before, it's way easier for me to dial in a wood bait. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I think that most of the people watching are probably resin bait makers, and these are made of resin. You know, I do both, but for our wood bait makers out there, stay away from resin. It's evil. It's not as predictable as wood. Wood comes in the buoyancy that it comes in, and you just deal with that and go from there. Wood is very buoyant depending on the type of wood, but most of the wood you use to make baits is very buoyant. And so it's very stable. You add enough lead until it does what you want it to do. So it's pretty straightforward. You got to deal with placement and stuff like that. But other than that, it's not that overly complicated. And I will say that resin is a whole different ballgame. And first, let's jump into why does it matter so much? Why do you guys feel like it matters so much to dial in a bait to get it as close to perfect as you can? What are your thoughts on that?
Because I don't want it to swim like crap.
I want it to fish.
And also be effective, but also enjoyable while you're fishing it. You know, like some baits can be effective, but they kind of suck to fish. And in my opinion, like if I'm dialing a bait in, I'm trying to do it to where it's something I enjoy. Like, you know, if a swim bait blows out of the water, honestly, that's not the worst thing in the world. Like, don't get bit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time it's not that enjoyable because that's not how you're trying to fish it, you know?
Yeah, that is kind of, it is funny because whenever they blow out like that, which I had that issue on some earlier versions of this, that is like a telltale sign of distress in a fish. Like that would definitely going to trigger a bite, but you're exactly right. Like you're expecting something of it, right? You're expecting, you set out to design this bait with a clear intention in mind. Trevor, what do you think? Why do you think it's so important? Same reasons? Or I know you said to catch fish, but anything else that you have to add?
Well, no, I think you said it really good. You have an idea, an image in your head, and that's what you're trying to get that bait to live up to and uphold is what you see, you know?
Yeah. And it can be frustrating whenever you spend all this time trying to put a bait together. See, I'm lucky in the wood bait space. I know I said I wouldn't spend a lot of time on it, but there's a lot of times where it's like, you put it together, you put a lip on it, and it just works, right? Like for like a crankbait, it just works well. Like you don't understand, like yeah, there's things that come with experience, like symmetry and, you know, getting your weight centered and in the right places. But my first few that worked well, it was a complete accident. I could not see myself accidentally making a resin bait that works well. Like that's just,
You know,
having gone through both processes.
I like that you brought up the wood topic because I think it also comes down to repeatability. Like
Mhm.
if you only had to make one or two of those glides, you wouldn't be worrying about, well, what about when I'm making it? Like I have to make sure it's easy to place weight here
Mhm.
and it has to fit, or I have to be able to pour past that or whatever. Like you have all these extra variables because with wood, you're just going to drill a hole and then put some lead in it. Like once it's already carved. And if that didn't
Mhm.
work, you could just drill another hole and put some lead in it or remove some lead. So the whole process, you're removing that repeatability factor.
Mhm.
Like you're just trying to get that one bait to work. And also wood, I've said it before, is just more like buoyant and like you said, for the most part consistent. I mean, not all of the same type of wood is going to be the
Mhm.
same density, but generally, depending what you're making, they're going to be close. So,
Mhm.
I could use a, 3/8 Forstner bit and shoot a hole right here and fill it with lead and it's going to swim how I want.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. And it's normally I'm with the wood baits, I'm making like, I'm not trying to design a process. I'm not trying to, I'm just making a bait and I'm not worried about making it again because I don't ever do that. And it's not something that I have to worry about. Like, okay, so am I, yeah, I'm not going to rephrase what you just said, but yeah, it comes down to the repeatability of it. Like, and as I've been designing this bait, it's been something that I've been trying to, because this isn't my first resin bait. It's my best one. I will say that, but I've been trying to work that into the design process as far as even everything down to the stencils that I'm using. Like I made it to where it's easily repeatable for me to where I can charge less for it and sell it to more people. Like really that's the whole reasoning behind that and get it in the hands of a bunch of people that want a really good bait. And that whole repeatability factor of it, that plays into your pricing, that plays into your willingness to do it. Right. So that's a great point. But so there's a lot of key variables that go into making a bait. And we've mentioned a few already, like buoyancy, sink rate, because even if you want your bait to sink, you still need buoyancy to stabilize it. You need those forces pulling against, you need gravity pulling against the buoyancy to keep your bait upright where you want it. But even things like the hardware, what type of hooks are you going to use? What type of split rings are you going to use? Where's your line tie going to be? Where are your hook hangers going to be? And not to mention just the overall body and tail design, or if you have a tail, because this applies to all baits, really. There are some that are easier to dial in than others, but what do you find yourself struggling with the most out of those things that tend to be the most sensitive areas of dialing it in? As far as like, too far one way, you're completely off. Too far the other way, you're completely off. You have to find that sweet spot. Do you guys find yourself struggling with any particular point of that more than in the others?
Well, I have an exercise that helps me dial stuff in.
Okay.
It's can you see that?
We have an equation. Hang on. I got to get my...
Yeah. So, oh man.
Can't put these on with my... There we go. All right.
So this is how I find the area of a triangle, which translates to help me dial in my baits.
Explain.
All right. So you got to take the base times the height and times it by 2 or something. And then you get your answer.
I feel like you're full of crap.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I've been bamboozled. I put my glasses on for nothing.
I thought that was legit. I'm like, what is he up to? Hang on.
You're really getting into some sciencey physics stuff. I always got.
Well, I mean,
all right, I'm back.
If we want to get a little more into it, to find the buoyancy, you must figure out the density. So, so I'm letting you know that once you figure out these formulas, you'll be and smart.
That is a good formula to know, though. That one. I don't know if I've used that. I don't know about your first one. I think you made that up. Let me see the first one again.
The first one, sure. This is legit. This is
something about pizza on the left there.
Does it look right to you? Because it's backwards to me.
It looks right to us.
All right,
E
cool.
equals H2O. B.
Yeah. But I can help you in another area too, if you'd like.
Please.
All right. So when it comes to that,
pull another paper out.
When it comes to the action, we must figure out the formula for kinetic energy. All right?
What?
These are legit, not made up. This is what you got to go through to be a bait maker.
I know Victor's sitting somewhere watching this being like, yep, that's right.
It's legit.
Those two idiots are sitting here like, why the hell do you put letters in math? Who did that? Whose idea was that? That's bad.
Well, I came up with a theory for that too. You have to find the positive and the negative to the alphabet, like geometry.
Dude, this got even better than I could have ever thought.
Listen, I haven't slept much in the last 3 days, so I may just be dumb. Not that I'd be able to figure it out had I just slept 8 hours, but that is a little above my pay grade whenever it comes to specificity. Is that a word?
It is now.
Specificity.
I'd like to know how you apply the kinetic energy one to your process. I'm intrigued.
I did it.
Can you give us a real life example of your kinetic energy formula there, Trev?
Yeah, I did it to solve the kinetic energy crisis.
If you pull out a sheet that says Green New Deal on it, I'm ending the podcast. I'm just done.
My glass is broke.
Man.
Well, as Batman, we should expect nothing less.
Nothing.
Batman is a genius. He's a genius billionaire. That's Trev. If I've ever seen one. Well, Trevor, I believe
Let's wrap this episode up. Now everybody knows the process.
Everybody knows that's the secret to bait making is
kinetic energy.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. That's all you need to know. You're the next big thing in the bait making world if you master those things.
Everyone's going to be messaging you. They're going to want you to do their kinetic energy calculations.
I will help them.
Yeah. So if you have no idea what Trev was talking about, then shoot him a DM at peak.baits on Instagram. And I'm sure he'll be happy to clear that all up for you and maybe even, help you figure out the quadratic equations for all of your future bait making needs for free. Oof. He will do it absolutely for free.
Absolutely.
Day or night. He guarantees a response within 30 seconds.
Most times.
But, yeah. So, okay. Apparently Trevor doesn't struggle with any of the variables of bait making. He just showed us like 30 of them. So what about you, Anthony? Do you struggle within any of the small tweaks and
Still
changes?
speechless over that. What do I struggle with the most? Well, now I'm questioning how I even design baits. Not one time have I considered kinetic energy. What I struggle with the most is getting glide baits to swim right, which comes down to, as far as like, if you break it down, a lot of it is weight placement, and the joint, in my opinion. I think it comes down to those few things and getting them to all work together.
What about the center
Which
of
is
gravity?
why center of gravity, irrelevant.
This is a
No, it's not. It's definitely relevant. Genuinely, in Fusion, you can do a center of mass calculation, and it shows you kind of where your center of mass is. But the problem with that is it means nothing in the real world application, because you don't have a line on it. You don't have a force pulling on it. Like, there's so many other factors. But, in my mind, center of gravity should probably be the lowest point, but that's not always the case in practice, like with the mini glide. Like, I'm sure you had to put more weights towards the front, whereas like you had them closer to the middle, because you would think you want it to be most stable, so you want your center of buoyance, like your most buoyant and your most heavy, to be across from each other, and it'll keep the bait up. But because you have a certain profile to the bait, and you have, a line pulling on it from a certain spot, wherever the line tie is, it's not that easy to figure out. Like, I need my mathematician now. I know who to go to figure this out. But what do you think about
I will say,
center of gravity?
If you guys remember, whenever I was trying to dial this in, there was one I got it close, but there was one small suggestion that was made by somebody that was the final piece, and that was the mathematician saying, "Hey, move that one weight placement 1/8 of an inch forward." So
was it in
I
the
thought he
rear?
was just no, it was in the front half. Whenever you're when you're talking about you want your weight to be in the lowest point on the bait, that was not a possibility on this, because look at the belly on this, and it's even thinner as you go back. It's hard to see on camera, but it's like it is. There's a good 1/8 of an inch on the bottom of it, where I could not fit a weight in there if I tried, unless I like made a custom formed weight, which I know a lot of guys do, but I ain't got time for that. And it's not going to work for me. So I had to make the weight a little bit higher, which was probably some of the issue that I was having. I had to make it a little higher in the body, but it's kind of counteracted by the fact that the top of it's pretty thick. So it definitely ended up working out. But just moving that one weight 1/8 of an inch made all the difference in the world as far as being able to get it to swim. It was gliding and chopping just fine. It just would not swim. It was a straight line, torpedo. And Anthony, you gave me a suggestion to make some modifications to the shape of the back half, which got me a little bit closer. But then Trevor comes in and says, "Yeah, move that." I let them know where all the weights were in it, and I kind of just drew up a diagram. And he's like, "Yeah, move that back weight forward 1/16 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch." And I got it, fixed it. And that's the one I have right here in front of me. Is it did exactly what we needed to do. So maybe he's not full of crap.
Explain, Trev. What brought you to that conclusion?
kinetic energy and the crisis that we experience with it.
Kinetic energy crisis.
Repeat the question.
Episode title.
What brought you to that conclusion that moving it?
Yeah, why did you tell me to move that weight forward?
Well, I had a conversation with Victor months and months ago, and that was a suggestion he had given me that worked. And I was looking for more back movement and front stability. You know what I mean? So I guess like go like this so everybody can see. It was a shot in the dark that happened to work. I'll be honest.
Well, it did. It did. I mean, but it makes sense. And
It does.
yeah, go ahead.
And
I think a lot of us think through these things, just not as deeply as Trevor does. Like, you don't think through the equations and things like that. But like, yeah, I mean, kinetic energy is a real force in how a bait swims, and being able to figure out the buoyancy, being able to figure out where the center of mass is, being able to figure out all those things We just don't always use equations to do it, or I don't. I eyeball a lot of stuff. I'm like, right about there looks good. And usually it works. Sometimes it doesn't. This time it didn't. Eyeballing it did not get me in the right place, but it's weird how like I made it exactly the same as I made the version before it. I just moved that weight, just like Trevor said, 1/8 of an inch forward, and it solved all my problems.
Well, it solved all mine too.
It's crazy how,
Thank
and
you
that's
to
what we're talking about
Victor.
with the variables. And I think weight and weight placement is probably the biggest. Feel free to disagree, but in my opinion, it's kind of the biggest make or break for something like a glide bait. Not necessarily like a crankbait or something that like hard floats or even slow floats, but like something that you want to slow sink or even suspend, and not just, you don't want it to suspend like this, and you don't want it to suspend with its nose up in the air. You want it to suspend or slow sink a certain way, maybe a little nose down or flat. Weight is definitely, in my opinion, and it's what I struggled with the most on this, obviously, as we've been talking about, as far as that variable goes, not only the amount of weight, but where it goes. So this is my 22nd iteration. It took me 22 tries to make this. All my wood baits take me 1 try. Now, there may be a solid 2 hours where I'm going back and forth between the drill and the lead pot and making adjustments there, but I only got to do it once.
So I don't know if this topic is going to come up like further down, but are we going to get into like the process of dialing it, like what our individual processes are? All right.
Yeah. That's actually where I was going next, was like just the testing process, because Anthony, I know you do a lot of your testing. You have a pool. We'll party at Anthony's after we have.
It got used 3
pizza.
times this year.
But mainly as a test tank.
No, it gets used as a test tank more than anything, like every day almost.
So, but there's a difference between throwing it in a pool. I've got like a little dog pool that I've used, and I'm trying to build a test tank now. Although, did you see Marling's new video? He just used a cattle trough, and I'm like, that's genius and cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
An 8-foot cattle trough. Anyway,
and it didn't take up half his shop and leak.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a difference between testing in a 2-foot by 2-foot by 8-foot test tank versus a pond versus a lake with a little bit of current versus a river. When you're designing a bait that you're planning on, you're hoping to sell, you want it to work in all of those conditions. So whenever you're testing a bait, let's walk through, like, what do you prioritize? Like, what's your order of operations whenever you've got basically the design done and you've got your first prototype there? Like, what steps do you go through to test your baits?
All right, I'll go first because that's why I asked. It was on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So the first bait that I make will have no weight in it, and I just Frankenstein it over and over. Like I'll put like the hooks on. I think I'm going to use the screw eyes or where I think they're going to be, and I'll start just attaching weights where I can, like generally close to where I think they're going to be, whether I just like put a split shot on a hook and whatever, and I'll put it in my goldfish tank and see if it sinks level. And then sometimes I'll even take it at that point and go throw it on a rod and throw it in the pool. And then if it seems good, I'll actually just drill holes in it and put that lead inside of it and then close those holes up. And then I'll go test it again. And if that didn't work, I'll remove some lead, move it around until I get it kind of close to what I want. And then the next bait that I make, I'll have the lead inside the mold. So at that point, it's kind of close. And now I cast it with the lead. This is the most important thing. This is a Bible.
Remember what you did
The whole time.
Changed.
Yeah. Take good notes. Like this makes no sense. You see, these are like the first pages. These are crap notes. I think at that point, Trevor probably knows when I was doing the downsize. I think I sent him pictures of that, and I'm like, dude, I don't even understand what this is. Like, what did I even write? So I like your process, Jesse, where you label the bait. I noticed you doing that. But yeah, take good notes. So yeah, I'll cast it with the lead in it and then test it, and you just keep Frankensteining it until it gets close to where you want. I don't really have like a good like piece of advice on like how to nail it because I feel like I'm still learning a lot. I still struggle with it, especially for a glide bait. A wake bait, I feel like is a little easier. A crankbait like this only took 2 tries. I did, a certain amount of lead, and then I added one more, and then I liked it there, and then I casted it with that amount in it, and it was good. So it only took like 2 days. Yeah. It's rough when you got to keep pouring them over and over. And like you said, like 20 iterations of the same bait, and you're trying to keep track of it. And that's why the notes are important because, especially for a glide, you're probably going to end up at that point where you're pouring multiple of different variations because you want to dial in a glide bait like very precisely. Or for me at least. And I'm sure both of you guys are the same way, and a lot of other people. Like there's a certain action you want, there's a certain sink rate you want, there's a certain way you want it to react on, a little bit of real input, and one little thing, like you said, an eighth inch moving something can change it. So you're always chasing that, like trying to figure it out. So that's kind of my process. Frankenstein, get a little closer. It's kind of like climbing a pyramid a little. You just take your steps.
Yeah. My process is similar in the fact that I'll cast one of them with just the screw eyes in it. Because I know the screw eyes are going to be there. And I ran into that with this. I only had a certain amount of screw eyes of a certain type, and I had to order more, but I couldn't get the exact same type that I was using for all the testing. And they were almost the same length. They were the same wire diameter. One of them had threads all the way up to the screw eye, and one didn't. It was just kind of it's amazing the weight difference between, they're so similar in size, but that can throw off your whole gig, something that small. But anyway, that's going back to the variables there. I'll cast one without weight, and I'll super glue weights to it along the belly and put the hooks on it and the split rings and everything, just to try to get it to where it's sinking. And I don't have a fish tank. I got a bucket of water. And I'll just keep moving them around until I get it sinking at the rate that I want it to, and that and flat, or, if we're talking about a glide, sometimes, or a swim bait, you want it just a little nose down. You definitely don't want it nose up. And I'll get it to that point, and then what I'll do is, and the whole time I'm because it's just super glue, you can snap the weights off and put them in a different place. So I'll just keep moving it around on that one pure resin bait. And then once I find the place where I want it, then I'll, like you said, I'll cast it with the weight inside of it and try that and make sure that still works. And then there's some, different things you can do. And maybe 2 configurations get you the same sink rate and sink profile, I guess is the best way to call it. But the action will be completely different. So that's whenever you start testing the action. And so what I'll do, and what you guys saw me do, I sent you a ton of pictures, is I'll take, basically, I know now how much weight I need to make this sink the way I want it to sink. And then I will do, like, I'll make 4 baits, all with different configurations of that same weight. And sometimes it's, I'm cutting a split shot in half with my box cutter knife, right? And putting it in different places. Or I have, the heavier weight in the front and the lighter weight in the back, and then swap those, and just trying to do all different, basically, because testing in a test tank is one thing, but testing on a cast is completely different. And I can't cast where I'm at. I have to actually go physically to a body of water to make a cast. And we've talked about before, that's not easy for me to do. So I don't want to make one bait, drive 30 minutes to the nearest body of water just to find out that bait sucks. So I'll make 4 or 5 iterations of it, and I letter all of them just so where I can keep it straight. But like you said, keeping track of what's what is massively important, because I have a notebook, and it's like, okay, variant A has the weight here, this much weight here, this much weight here, blah, blah, blah. Like, and variant B, so on and so forth. And I always write it directly on the bait so I don't forget which one's which, because we're just talking blanks at this point. Nothing's painted. And then I'll just take those out, and I'll find the one that works the best. Maybe it's not good, but it's the best out of that batch. And then I'll do much smaller adjustments to that configuration and pour 4 or 5 more with just smaller adjustments, but close to that same configuration. And then I just repeat that process until I get to where I've got it exactly where I want it. And like I said, it took me 22 tries on this one. I poured 22 baits, and that's not counting the ones that I screwed up whenever I was pouring them. Like there were several of those too, but also trying to figure out like what buoyancy, like what amount of micro balloons to resin. That's a whole other variable. Like you want it to be as buoyant as possible, but you still need to be able to pour it in the mold, which is something I ran into and ended up having to completely redesign my mold so I could get more buoyancy out of it. So I could use more micro balloons and get it to a higher percentage. And yeah, it was a whole mess all the way through. But because I kept notes, because I kept track of what I was doing, and because this is important to me, especially if you're starting out and designing baits, ask people. If you have a problem, ask somebody. I mean, they may not know, but they may have an idea. Like you may not have a Victor you can reach out to immediately that's going to know exactly what's wrong with it before you even ask them. But you may, I mean, if you're making baits, hell, ask one of us. Like there's plenty of resources out there and a lot of people who are willing to help you out and are willing to share that information. And I'm lucky that I have a couple of buddies here that I can bounce ideas off of on a regular basis daily. That's an important part of it too, I think, as you're trying to dial it in. And if you hit one of those points like I did, where no matter what I do, I can't get it to do what I want, help. And you both had great suggestions that ultimately led to me getting to where I wanted to with this mini glide. So I think that's an important thing to think of too, as you're doing your testing. Make sure that you're not, you don't live on an island, or maybe you do, but the internet's a thing. So reach out to somebody, ask for help, ask for input, right? You don't have to do what they said, but maybe it'll spark an idea. Maybe it'll help you figure out what that one little tiny adjustment needs to be to get you right where you need to go from, it swims like a dead toad to it's perfect, right?
That's a good point.
That's kind of, yeah.
You could get very like tunnel vision on something.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you need that outside perspective. And then you're like, why didn't I think of that? Well, because you were focused on just one aspect maybe, and somebody else who hasn't been thinking about it for the last 2 months straight, it's just fresh to them and they can see it from a different perspective. So that's a good point. Yeah. The communities, you can't beat it. There's a lot of people willing to talk about bait making and fishing. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And like you said in an earlier episode, there's more than one way to milk a goose. So ask a bunch of people. You may get several different ideas and several different approaches, and a few different ones might work. But then, you just apply it to whatever your process is and build it into it. So I think that that's something that gets overlooked a lot by bait makers, because I've overlooked it before. It's like, I've got all these friends now that are in the bait making space that have a lot of experience and combined experience that far outweighs my own. Why am I not asking? Right now, I'm sure that there are people out there that, they guard their secrets like it's, they're precious. And, that's fine. That's what they choose to do. No judgment. That's fine. You want to keep your secret, but it's like, I think most of us out there, I know the three of us are like this, and pretty much everybody we've had on the show is like this, is, yeah, I'll share whatever I can. Like if I think I can help you, I'm happy to help. So that's something I just want to bring up in the testing phase, because it's like, I know that was the game changer for me. But yeah. Trevor, what about your process? Do you do anything different than what we do? What kind of equations do you use for testing?
Well, first off, everything starts in my handy dandy notebook. All right. And,
that is
I always
big
start
marker
out
for a very small notebook.
This is how we get down. So everything starts with a diagram. You know what I mean? And then a diagram turns into a resin blank, which very quickly turns into a Frankenstein bait, drilling a lot of holes, putting weight and playing that game. And then, like Anthony said, you eventually get to the point where you'll cast it with the weight in the areas you want. But I don't ever just start out with like the resin without any weight. I'll pick a weight to start at and then decide, do I need to go less? Do I need to go more? Give myself a base to start on, you know what I mean? Versus, darn. I don't know if if that's YouTube friendly.
It is. It's fine.
Okay.
There's only 2 words that aren't, and I already bleeped those out, so you're good.
Did I say them?
Nope, not yet.
Yeah, that's my process. It's pretty good. Draw, Frankenstein, pour, pray, and results will come if you build it.
And repeat. There is a lot of trial and error, and that's part of it.
And
that's even true in the wood baits. Like I said, I can spend 2 hours going back and forth between drilling holes or widening holes or filling with lead, or okay, I put too much lead in it, I got to drill some out. So I mean, it's all just minor adjustments. I'm only doing it on one bait in that instance, but it's the same concept. It's just trial and error until you get what you want. And I can't remember who said it. I think it was Dennis Perko, and he's like, I'll share anything except for maybe my like mixtures, because it's not going to help you anyway, because you're not making the same bait that I'm making, right? So it's not, you know, I'll tell you, but it's not like that's not what you should do in that scenario. You've got to figure it out for the profile, the thickness, the buoyancy, the action that you're trying to get. And so that made sense to me, because that's not, I mean, maybe give you a good starting place if I have a bait that's very similar to what you're trying to make, but you're still gonna have to make adjustments from there. Yeah, it's all trial and error, a lot of it. So if you don't like failing repeatedly, don't make baits. Go ahead, Trevor.
You guys have a standard formula, or like that you would. This is very serious. This isn't, so like how much, like compared to your resin ratio to your micro balloon, do you have like a set, like I use X percentage of micro balloons to my resin, or do you just wing it every single bait?
Oh no, I have a scale.
I have a standard.
And
what I mean, like, all right, if you're going for, I don't even know how to ask this, but all right, I start off with like 30 to 40% of one to the whole, and then see what works from there. Does that make sense?
So you mean like not each bait of the same type. Yeah. You're not just eyeballing how much you're putting in.
No, I'm talking in general, any bait, like whether
like a new
you're
bait
making a gliding,
you're working on. Yeah. Okay. I've only made resin glides.
I go for as much
as
possible.
Resin baits I've been involved in. Yeah, and that was something else I ran into.
I go for as much. Freaking screens are frozen, dude. It's all laggy again.
Yeah, we can hear you. It's fine. But it's
right.
I've only done resin glides, and I switched the micro balloons that I was using midway through the second one. So, and it kind of changed things a bit. But going forward, yeah, and like Anthony said, you want it to, in my opinion, I agree, is you want it to be as buoyant as you can make it. And if you're using good quality resin and good quality micro balloons, shout out Sack Pig Michael, what's up? Then you're going to be able to make it buoyant and still strong. It's still going to hold up, right? Because I mean, if you're doing 90% micro balloons and 10% resin, then that's not going to hold together very well. You're going to have some very, very flaky putty on your hands at that point in time. But like there is a threshold you can reach to where it's like, okay, that's too buoyant. And by too buoyant, I mean, it's not going to have enough structural integrity to put up with the abuse of being slung across the lake 100 and 200 times in an hour. So, or, getting wrenched on by a big fish or something. You want it to be as buoyant, but as sturdy as you can make it at the same time. Does that make sense? So and this is something I didn't do on the Slim Thick, and I wish I had, but I was just so eager. It was my first like production bait, and I was so eager to get it out that I kind of skipped this step and just released it. Definitely not doing that with this, but I think it's very important you get it as close to perfect where you want it and where you like it as the maker and the designer, and then get it into other people's hands to fish with and collect that feedback as well. This is my first time doing that. Have you guys done that before? And do you feel like that's an important step? Is that a non-negotiable?
I think that's an important step, but I also think it's important to pick the right people, because I have sent baits to people and they didn't fish them at all. They gave me no feedback, but they said they would this, that, and the third, but got zero back, So I would advise to do some homework, make sure this person fishes the kind of baits that you're willing to send them, and make sure they're educated to give you the feedback that can help you, not just, hey, I'm getting a free bait and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony?
Yeah, I'm with Trevor on that. Definitely, if I do send something, needs to go to and needs to go to somebody with some experience, not just even fishing the swim bait, but like understanding that with their input, like there needs to be some suggestion on like a solution. You know, like at work, if you just go to your boss with problems all the time, it's like, shut the fuck up, like whatever. But like if they don't have like a bait making experience background, like they're not actually going to have constructive input sometimes. So I don't really send baits to many people. Like I'll just go out and fish them because I know what I want it to do. It just gets confusing. Like the more minds that start coming into it and the more feedback, I start questioning things, and it's like, I know I like it. I designed it to do this, and I'll just make it clear that this is what the bait is and how it's supposed to work, you know?
That makes sense.
So it's a little tricky for me.
Yeah, no, but that's a great point.
I get overwhelmed, like too many opinions and stuff.
Yeah. I think I'm keeping in mind, like I'm sending these out to, obviously you two are getting one, and then there's 3 other people that are getting them, all of whom have been guests on this show that I know do a lot of fishing, that are people I trust to give me good feedback, like you're talking about, like you have to have a solution, like, okay, you don't like that it does this, what would you rather it do? But then I think the final step in that is, yeah, you take all that feedback and you prioritize it. Like, what am I willing to do and what am I not willing to change? Right? Because I like that it does this, but because this one person didn't, I'm not going to change it because of that, because it's, I like that it does that or has that, certain quality. So I think that's another thing is like, you can't allow yourself, like you said, Anthony, to become overwhelmed by the feedback, because not everybody likes the same stuff and not everybody has the same experience and not everybody fishes the same way. So inevitably, no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody out there that doesn't like your bait. And that's fine, because it's just not their style. But I know with this one, I specifically picked people that I knew had experience fishing this type of bait, had experience. There's one that does have experience bait. I'm not going to go. I don't know if they want me to talk about who they are, so I'm not going to name any names, but I might be able to guess. But the ultimate goal for me is I want to get 5 different opinions in total on how it works, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and then if all 5 people come back and say I hate this about it, I'm going to consider changing it. Unless it's something I'm just like, no. Like, I hate that the eyes are so big. No, I like the big eyes. I'm keeping the big eyes. Just things like that. But if one person out of the 5 says that they don't like this, but the other 4 say that they do, like it helps you prioritize what you do and don't want to change, I think, in my opinion. But again, this is the first time I'm doing it, so I may be way off base, but this is just my perception of the whole process. And the whole reason I think it's important to get it into other people's hands is because I like one specific thing, right? And I have one specific goal in mind for this, but I'm not, I'm going to fish with it, but I'm not making it just for me. If it were a wood bait, then yeah, you kind of like, I make it however I want to make it and you're going to get it or not. Like you don't have to buy it if you don't want to, but I want people to buy this bait because I think it's an awesome bait and I enjoy making it for the, first time ever enjoyed making a resin bait. But I think that I just want it to be very approachable is my whole thought process behind it. I want anybody and everybody, like I'm going to get my 15-year-old son's going to get one. He's going to fish with it because he's not super experienced. And I want to see what it's like for somebody who's, not brand new, but, relatively a novice, can they get the same action out of it? Because I think that, and it just makes it more approachable. I don't know where I'm trying to go. I'm exhausted and I'm rambling at this point. What else is new, Jesse? But I think that's why I'm making sure to get it into the hands of other people to gain feedback, just so I can make sure that maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I like a stupid wobble in a bait that everybody else hates. It's just a precautionary step. I could I would be happy to launch it exactly like it is right now and start selling it tomorrow. But I know that there's a possibility that things can be tweaked and changed to make it more approachable for more people. Right. And that may make some sacrifices in certain aspects of it. And I have to prioritize as to whether or not I want to do that. But that's the ultimate goal. I don't know. Somebody stop me from talking. Yeah.
All right. I got a question. So you design a bait, you're making it, and you have a desired action that you're trying to acquire, achieve with the bait. Do you give a crap if you got the action you're looking for? Do you care if your hooks move?
My hooks move?
All right,
Like, what
I
do you
bring it up because I was told probably about, I don't know, 18 months ago, my bait would be better if my hooks didn't move. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I look at a lot of baits I fish and I see the hooks moving with my bait. Like they're kind of set up to have some movement to themselves. So, I was just getting a general opinion on, what was said to me a year and a half ago.
I mean, maybe not if it's like a topwater soft body frog. You don't want those hooks to move.
No, we're talking bait that has 2 treble hooks on it that are hanging from split rings, maybe swivel hook hangers, whatever. There's movement to them. Do you care if your hooks move? I never noticed it make a difference in my hookup, in my catch ratio, but I had it mentioned that my hooks. So then I start making 500. How do I keep my hooks in place?
What's the benefit?
Because I guess a fish wouldn't have extra things hanging off of it moving. They would move more fluid. So I'm not a physicist. I'm not a meteorologist,
now all
a
of a sudden
mechanic.
you're not.
No.
Yeah, you were a physicist
too
10
much.
minutes ago.
All right,
No,
That's the type of feedback
first-
that screws me up.
Oh, I ignored it completely. What the hell is that? Like, I have what I'm looking for in it. I didn't ask you about my hooks. My hooks are irrelevant. Whenever they're doing, we're not talking about the hooks. The hooks are there for the fish to be attached to.
So I have two statements based on what you just told me. And the first one is whoever said that fish don't have things hanging off them is obviously never owned a goldfish. Because goldfish, all fish poop. And it's normally like a big string that hangs off of them, right? Not to get too graphic with it, but it's like, and also fins. Fins
Goldfish
are
are
not
the worst.
Fins are not attached. Like they're only attached at one end. They're hanging off.
All right, I'm
And
glad.
My second statement though, and I'm an idiot. Keep that in mind.
Same.
I've never seen a hard body bait with fixed hooks.
Like, not fixed to the body. Like, they move in.
Unisons.
Yes. It's
Like,
one cohesive movement between the hook and the body.
Like if the bait turns, the hook turns with it. It's not getting
Yes.
behind.
Yes.
Why would you want that? Who cares?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Who cares?
All right. I
Fish
just
are
want to make
dumb.
sure I'm not the only one that
Agreed.
overlooked and
Wow.
did not. That doesn't matter to me. Like, my bait does the movement I had in my head. I wanted whatever I wanted, but the hook's movement was not wanted to care.
I'm gonna start critiquing people's swim videos on Instagram. Say your hooks they're moving like 30 degrees. It should be, straight up and down with the bait.
I said that to you last year one time when I came up, and I'm like, how do I get the hooks to not move?
I don't remember.
You don't?
Super glue.
I mean, I don't care. I want them to move. Like, I don't know. I had to air that out, I guess.
I don't even know how. I never noticed. I never cared. Like I don't know how my hooks move in comparison to my bait.
Agreed.
It
Never
doesn't
paid
matter.
attention to it. As long as they don't tangle.
Yeah.
And the hookup
Yeah.
ratio is good. That
So much
I've
better.
been concerned with. Like, it seems like they're
Yeah,
smacking it and not getting hooked. Then I know I have to address something, and not once has it been, I want my hooks to be parallel to the bait.
But that does bring up an important topic, though, is the hook size selection and style.
Short
Because that
shank.
So these, I don't have one with hooks on it here, but these, I went with the biggest hooks I could possibly comfortably put on here. Short shank, so they don't get tangled up. And I've got it kind of tuned to where even when it bends, because there were some earlier iterations where I had the screw eyes backed out a little too much and it had a little too much bend to it, and they would get tangled, but it was only like every 50th cast. It didn't happen otherwise, but as soon as I tightened it up a little bit on later, it doesn't happen anymore. But the hooks I was originally going to put on this were 2-aught short shank, And I just felt like they were too small.
Too
And so, too odd.
I mean,
No, size 2. Sorry. Not
I was
two.
gonna say.
Size 2. Number 2. Brain. Don't. Number 2. And what I ended up going with was a 1/0 short shank. So
Yeah. The number 2 short shanks they do look small. That's what I'm using on the nutlet.
Yeah.
I wish they were a little wider.
I honestly wish there was an in between because, and I guess technically there's a number 1, but like I think that's actually what I ordered for this, but it ended up like they're the same size as a 1/0, like regular shank treble, like the size. And so, but it works. And my hookup ratio is great. I've gotten like 7 or 8 bites on it and missed one. Yeah. Hook size, but all hook size, not the hook movement, which maybe it does, but hook size definitely can impact the way your bait sinks or floats, right? Like it can, because I started off with those 2/0 hooks and that's what I was testing it with. And then I had to completely reconfigure because I just didn't feel like they were big enough.
Yeah, you definitely gotta find the right hooks before you get to that final stage of dialing something in.
Yeah. You can't just slap whatever hooks you got on there and just hope it's going to be the same.
Yeah. I like when the hooks like just barely poke past the sides. Like this is just me. Like I like when they just barely poke past the sides. And a lot of times what I notice is to get that, I'll need a bigger size hook, but I don't want them to be so long, which is why short shank hooks are like almost always my go-to. And the hookup ratio on them, the ones I use, they're not even that expensive. They're W Lure, I think it's called. Like the hookup ratio is incredible on them. But that's kind of how I size them.
And they're sticky.
They're sticky, yeah.
Super. I know.
And I feel like how do I phrase this? It's the bigger the hook, the better the hookup ratio to an extent, right? Like that's why I'm struggling with the phrasing because you can get too big because if you got a massive hook on a tiny bait, like whatever fish is going to be biting that bait's not going to.
They're going to push the
fit
hook
that whole
out
hook
of
in
the
their
way.
mouth. Yeah.
Their lip is going to push the hook out, or too thick of a gauge. You know, like you got to consider like, is this the type of bait I'm going to be like slamming a hook set, or is it the type of bait that I just want it to, you know, like they hit it and they get stuck, which would be like, you know, a thinner wire hook, maybe smaller. Like I've seen some baits that the hooks look undersized, but they obviously catch a lot of fish. But here's another thing, especially if you're doing like, say you're making like a line of swim baits or glide baits, a lot of people are going to want to put their preferred hooks on it anyway. So it depends what kind of bait you're designing, see how much consideration to take into it.
Yeah. It's a good point. And it's, again, there's more than one way to milk a goose, I guess. That's Anthony's line. I'm not stealing it. I like it, so I use it. I've used that in my regular day-to-day life since you said that.
Really?
Yeah, I have. No lie. But I know that the three of us put a lot of effort into the visual aspect of our baits. And we've talked about before, fish will eat anything. But do you feel like, and maybe this is just me lying to myself, but I do feel like, yes, fish will eat anything, but the better it looks, the more likely they are to eat it. So putting some effort into how your baits look, because we've talked about the design aspect, but not really the aesthetic aspect of it. Because, I mean, there's some butt ugly baits out there that catch a lot of fish. Not naming names, but
I think it's mostly presentation and your confidence in a bait. And for a lot of people, it's going to be, you know, if they feel like a fish is going to bite it because of how it looks, then a fish is probably going to bite it because of them fishing it more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just comes down to odds and presenting the bait properly. But, you know, if this and this, which is a realistic craw, both had the same action and similar, you know, colors that the fish wanted, which that's a whole nother topic, but I think they would both get bit presented the same. So
that's fair. So I'm lying to myself is what you're saying?
Yeah. You know, I posted this on Reddit, and a lot of people were saying about, oh, it's realistic looking. That's just to catch the fishermen. And I'm like, or it's a gimmick. And I'm like, well, what's a gimmick about it? Because it looks realistic. And I'm like, do fish not eat realistic looking things? Oh, they do, but they charge more. Well, not necessarily. Like, something can be realistic looking and be the same price as something that's flashy looking that looks like, it came out of a sci-fi movie that wasn't an alien. I don't know, just as an example, but yeah, I think it comes down to what you like rather than the fish sitting there inspecting this thing going by and they're like, wow, that to me looks like a craw swimming in reverse. I remember that craw from the other day. Like, no, they're like, something moved. I'm going to go hit it.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. So thank you for ruining my delusion. But
Yeah, no
I'm still gonna make my baits look pretty. I don't care what you say.
Do it, because we love them. I'm obsessed with this thing. I believe what I just said, and I'm still obsessed with this thing because I think it's so cool. Your baits, that one looks like a golden shiner. I could throw that at a lake with golden shiners, have so much confidence in it. I could have probably thrown one that looks nothing like a golden shiner, but swam the same, whatever, and it might have gotten bit if I put it where it needed to be. And it comes down to what we like. That's what I like. That's what I'm going to enjoy fishing. That's what I want to take a picture of after hanging out of the fish's mouth. Like, it's not that complicated. It's just what we like.
It's fair. It's a fair point. It makes me a little bit sad. I was hoping that somebody would agree with me that the more realistic it looks, the more likely it is to get bit. But you're right. I'll just go hang my head in shame now. I'm just going to sell resin blanks from now on.
Dude, that's the most productive.
I've caught a lot of fish on the blank for this, so
it's the most productive color out there.
Yeah, but do you feel as good about owning it?
Somebody else's? No. My own, yes. No. I like catching fish on my blanks because it just proves to me that they work. And it's nothing else other than the action and whatever. But yeah, I agree. I don't like fishing someone else's blank.
Yeah, if you're gonna spend your hard-earned money on something at any price point, like, would you rather have something that's just a white blank? They do produce. You can catch fish on them, or would you rather have something that's had a little effort put into it? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But
I want the effort, but I don't think the fish care, to be honest.
I just like to think that they care, Trev. I want to believe that they care.
Absolutely believe that the nicer the paint, the more fish we're going to get caught. I'm not saying that you don't need a fancy paint job, but I fish a lot of blanks and catch fish.
Yeah.
But if I'm spending my money, I want something that looks nice, something that makes me feel like dropping the money was worth it.
Yeah. Listen. Especially like in our world, like garage built baits, small time makers, like you're usually paying more than you would from Walmart to get it, a similar bait from Walmart. But so you want it to look decent at least. Right?
I'm not agreeing.
I'm still trying to
with anything said in the past that might ruffle our feathers. Like I don't agree with those statements. But I in the last 2 months I've had a slight turning point as you got to get the fisherman before the fish.
It's true. Otherwise, it's just going to sit on a shelf and never catch anything.
Boy, it's just make fun of Jesse time, huh? Is that what we're saying?
No. I still want to do the fanciest paint and not simple stuff, but I've realized that sometimes I've had to take a step back and simple works a little better. Not for me personally. I'd rather give it 110 and put 40 colors in it with whatever, and that would make me happier than using 3 colors and it's catching fish.
No, that makes perfect sense. And that's why, and that's, again, that's a different approach to like whenever we're talking about, when I'm making these resin baits, 3 colors max and maybe some black, right? I'm going to make it as cool as I can, but I'm also not going to spend hours doing it. Now on the wooden baits, with like the one-of-one stuff that I make, like that rat, I was painting it for 5 days because I painted each individual hair on its butt. So
it was amazing.
But yeah, but it's the difference, right? Like if you're trying to get baits out there for people to fish with, keep it simple, right? It can still look good and simple at the same time. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
No.
but I have been before. I will be again, especially if I don't sleep soon. But the kind of the last point that I have here, and then we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about whenever it comes to dialing stuff in. But this is something that's going to be important for me very soon. So I would like your advice. And that is knowing when to stop. Like when, because obviously we all want our baits to be perfect. We strive for perfection continually. Very rarely can you actually get to real perfection. You usually have to give and take in one aspect or another. But when do you feel like it's the right time to stop?
What do you mean by stop?
By like the bait's done. It's ready.
Stop tweaks and stuff.
Like you're ready to sell it?
Yeah.
I think it is about 90% of your ideal bait from the start. Like in your mind where you pictured, you achieve 90% of what you pictured it to be perfect as. And it's time to just get it out there, you know? And then it doesn't have to be the last improvements you make to it. But if you just keep, you know, beating a dead horse trying to get things changed, like, you know, you are going to get to the point where you are tired of that bait now. You know, like for me, I need some satisfaction. I need to see some people catching fish on it. Like I know it performs. I know it's durable. I know there's not going to be any major issues. So I'm okay getting it out there. You know, it's 90% of the perfect bait that I pictured from the start.
Okay. Trevor, what about you? When do you feel like it's the right time to stop?
I have a checklist of few things like what Anthony says, like you have the idea, and if I'm checking off boxes that things I wanted in this bait, is it's catching fish and whatever, and 90%, I can work with 90%. And like he said, that doesn't have to be the final rendition of it. Like you can continue to tweak it, make it better, but sometimes you don't, I don't know. Maybe you don't need 1,000 things to check off your list. You know what I mean? Like if it's got the action you want, if it's got the buoyancy, the sink rate, if it catches fish, if everything is coming together, why do you need to keep pushing it?
Yep,
that's fair.
I mean, you can keep pushing it, but if it's cohesively working, why not try to be happy?
Well, that's a good point. So in that case, I'm like 95% happy with this bait, so I guess I don't need to send them to you guys. I can just sell them.
That's
Take
it.
my money, let me buy it.
Yep.
I'm still, because I want, and that another reason for getting it out to a few people is I want catch pictures on this thing before I sell it, before I start selling it. Like I've got I've got several, and a couple of like good sized fish, no double digits or anything like that, but I want to get it to a handful of people that I know are going to send me pictures of what they catch, no matter if it's a 12 ouncer or a 10 pounder. Like I want to see it all. So, but I want to have a good selection of pictures of my bait hanging out of a fish's mouth, because that's my day job is marketing. So what better marketing do you have for a bait than that? So that's my secondary motive, but I do want the feedback in case there are any changes, but I'm not, like I said, I'm 95% happy with what's sitting in front of me now. So
it's good to go.
Maybe
man.
it's,
you'll go crazy, dude. You'll go, you're already crazy.
Oh yeah. It's a short trip.
It drives you nuts trying to be perfect. Nothing's perfect. I don't care what anybody says.
That's fair.
There's give and take to everything. And when you lean one way more, you're like, oh, I really like that it does this, then it also does this. Well, that's life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good perspective. It's hard for me. It's a hard pill for me to swallow though, because never in my life in anything else have I been a perfectionist until I started making baits. And then it's like, if it's not perfect, I'm not happy. And have I made a perfect bait yet? Absolutely not. Never once have I made a perfect bait in my eyes. Right. So I'm glad I've got you guys to keep me grounded and to keep me realistic about things.
That's what you just keep striving for it. But it has to get to the point where you're like, it's good. Like, it's really good. Nothing's ever going to be absolutely perfect. Everyone will always find something wrong with it. And if you make a bait, you're always going to find something wrong with it. So, but there's nothing really wrong with that, finding something wrong with it, because you're just going to keep improving, moving down the line. You might not even improve it on that bait, but it might be something, 3 baits down the line, you remember, well, this one did this, and, we're sponges. You can always learn and get dirtier and clean dishes.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a tactical advantage to never thinking that it's good enough, right? Like it does continue to make you, we've talked about it before, strive to get better and better and better, but it's also mentally exhausting whenever it's like, why won't it just do the one last thing I need it to do? Or why did that bubble have to show up in my clear coat there? Like, why couldn't it be on the belly? It had to be right on top of the forehead, right? No,
That's awful. That's enough to go play in traffic. On clear coat bubbles.
It's the worst. Well, what do you guys have? Anything to add as far as the overall dialing in process goes? Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you guys feel are important points of it and whatnot?
I don't. Math.
Math is not important ever. Math is never important ever.
We all learned math for no reason.
I remember my 7th grade algebra teacher said, well, I asked, why can't I use a calculator? And she's like, are you going to carry a calculator in your pocket everywhere you go?
Yes.
Sure enough. And much, much more.
She's a dummy.
This was in the,
and she's
this
the
was
teacher.
in the late 90s. So the cell phones then didn't have much functionality, but yeah, look at me now.
Still carry my abacus.
Because you choose the path less traveled, Trevor, and that's what we love about you.
That's right.
I think we covered it pretty well.
I think so too. And I think the moral of the story is everybody has different approaches. Everybody has different struggles. But going back to what I mentioned earlier, like, don't be afraid to ask for help from somebody that knows, from several people that know. Like that's what got me through this. I would have been stuck forever had I not reached out for input on how to. Do you need a little nappy poo?
Dude, I'm shot.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
You know,
45 minutes of sleep in 3 days.
There's a bonus to making baits. You will even get help sometimes if you don't even ask. Like someone wants to give their 2 cents and think they know it all, and sometimes it works.
Yeah, that's just a life lesson. Don't give advice unless you're asked for it.
Wait, what?
Don't.
There's very few people in life that I find it acceptable. Like, it's one of my pet peeves. Like, when someone just starts giving me advice, I'm like, I didn't ask you. Like, what makes you think I
Well, you know what I would do? I don't, and I don't care.
Yep.
Now, if it's like you're giving advice to your kid or something, like that's different. That's your job as a parent. Is whether they ask for it or not, you're raising them and you're turning them into hopefully what is going to be a functional human being later on. But like, especially people that you aren't close with, like personally close with,
that's the thing.
Don't give advice unless they ask for it.
Yeah.
Just don't. In general, we're beyond bait making at this point. Just in general.
The guy I don't know
Life
across
lesson.
the country.
Yeah.
That's in my DMs telling me how to do something better.
Thank you. Duly noted and disregarded.
I'll leave you on red.
Yeah. It depends on who it is, but yeah, usually I just don't acknowledge it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. And then don't do it.
Also,
and then some people I'm downright combative with.
I will say, I make a conscious effort to not do it to people also, because sometimes I want to, but I know the feeling of like, nobody asked me. When they want to know what I think, they will say, what do you think? And then I
I agree wholeheartedly, because my default mode as a human being is problem solving.
Yes, same.
I actually enjoy it.
I have to stop myself.
Yeah, I do too. Like, my wife and I had this discussion many times. It's like, she'll start telling me about a problem that she has, and I immediately go into fix it mode. Like, because my perception is you're bringing me this problem and telling me about this problem because you want my help fixing it.
Nope. Just listen.
Some people just want you to listen, which
Screw
Like,
that. Pay me.
Women.
I don't know that I've ever spoken words just for people to listen to. I'm a host on a podcast, so you get what I'm saying. I mean, in general life, like I don't just talk to be listened to outside of this space here. How stupid am I?
It's
I'm
literally
sorry.
become your life.
It's become a very large portion of my life is just talking for people to listen. Get some freaking self-awareness, Jesse. I mean, in general life, I try to make it a habit not to talk just for people to listen.
I don't even want them to listen when I talk.
It's like,
just acknowledge that. Just give me the look.
Yeah. If I'm telling you about a problem, it's because I want help with it, or else I wouldn't tell you. It's not your problem.
Well, that's
but
what
the difference
separates,
between certain people.
We're
The
all
theys from the thems.
We're picking up what everyone's putting down.
Yeah. But I agree, Anthony. It's hard not to automatically jump into that mode of, I mean, especially if somebody's talking directly to you about their problem. That doesn't always mean that they want you to fix it or that they want help fixing it, which blows my mind. But it's true.
It is true. I've gotten, I've been told, just want you to listen. All right, jeez.
And here's a little secret between the three of us and our dozens of viewers. I am a terrible listener. If I'm not engaged in the conversation, I'm not listening. And it's not on purpose. It's not intentional.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. What?
You gotta
Are you even listening? Yeah. My brain doesn't work that way. Like I have to be engaged in the conversation to participate in the to participate at all. If I'm not engaged in the conversation and I'm not allowed to speak, you've lost me. And again, it's not intentional. It's nothing personal. It's not a conscious decision I make. It was like, oh, well, if I have to just listen, I'm not going to. No, it's just, that's how it works. It's like,
I find
my brain just goes somewhere else. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I find it better to listen when I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
I feel like this has become like couples therapy.
Like,
therapy hour with the bait boys. We're all super qualified.
Yeah, right?
Super.
We're the most qualified. And Trevor is frozen on my screen right now with his tongue out. So this is
couples therapy.
This is perfect. This is perfect. Anywho, what's everybody working on right now?
Pouring molds and making mold pieces. Just trying to crank these out.
You are the mold guy. I don't know if that's what you set out to be, but you showed the world that you're good at it.
It's becoming that way. That's all right.
Yeah. But you are good at it. And that's,
thank you.
I mean, there's got to be a certain sense of pride in that where it's like, yeah, I'm making molds for other people to make baits whenever I started out to make baits, but it's kind of like you're making thousands and thousands of baits indirectly.
Right.
Think of it that way.
I'm like, I don't know. I was going with this. What are you working on, Trevor?
You're making baits all over the world.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, Trevor.
What am I working on? I'm wrapping up another batch of repaints. Good stuff. Just good stuff. That's all I can say. Just good stuff.
Raptors. The Raptor Master. You're like Chris Pratt in the Jurassic Park movie. You're the Raptor handler.
Oh man.
That's what you're known as, right?
I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Anthony's the mold guy. You're the Raptor handler. And I'm just the jackass that never accomplishes anything.
That's not.
Sometimes it's true. Wait, it's felt true. Anything else?
Just shows you the turmoil of dialing a bait in. You feel like you've accomplished nothing until you do.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the moral of the story.
That's fair. That's fair. Trevor, how's that 3-piece summit coming along?
Good.
Are you selling that yet, or are you still?
I did. I sold 2, as a matter of fact.
Man,
yeah,
I love the action on that thing. I know we already talked about it in a previous episode, but I can't get over how good that thing swims and the fact that it cranks just subsurface.
It'll get down. But it gets to like 5 or 6 feet.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. But you can, it handles rod and reel input well. Does that make sense? Like you could speed it up, it'll get down, but then you could slow it down and I got to get you guys one so you can understand it firsthand. But I got far more positive feedback from the few swim videos that I put that people that, it made me feel like what Anthony said. Like, I was looking for more, you know what I mean? But people it doesn't so much matter. I'm making this for other people. You know what I mean? I'm making it for myself, but I got to win everybody collectively. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. It's like, yeah, I make this because I want to make this and I make it how I want to make it. But I also, if I want to run a successful business, I got to sell a few of them. So I need some other people to like it. Yeah, completely
But I mean,
agree.
it's already catching fish. Bob got one and he had it not even 4.5 hours, 5 hours, and he's already sending me catch pictures on it.
That's insane. You sent that to us. That's, I mean, it's Bob though. Bob crushes on peak
But he
baits.
took it to a spot he's never been before, a brand new spot. He had no idea like how to fish this area or anything. A brand new lake, he told me, and the thing caught him a couple fish.
Nice.
That's awesome. Doesn't surprise me at all. Between Bob being Bob and you being you, like that's a power duo right there. Awesome. Well, we've basically been talking the entire time about what I've been working on, but the good news is we're there. Which maybe a couple of tweaks in the future. I don't know. We're there. So be on the lookout in the next 6 to 12 business months. You may see it. You see it for sale on my website. Maybe we'll give one away on here. Who knows? Maybe we'll give 5 away on here. Maybe I'll feel generous.
What?
Who knows? But yeah. And I promise for anybody
You're
that subscribes to my YouTube channel, I am going to make another YouTube video. I already know what I'm going to make. I've just been so wrapped up in this stupid glide. It's not stupid. I love it, but it's consumed my entire being. But I've got these 2 made. I've got 3 more to make. And then I'm going to stop making them for a little bit and make that YouTube video. So I should be by this weekend done with all of those. Should be. You know me and my timelines. 3 weeks later. Anywho, you boys ready for a question of the week?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Run it.
I think it's time for our question of the week. If you have a question that you would like to have answered by the 3 of us, or maybe whatever guest we have on that day, leave it down in the comments below. Whether you're on YouTube or Spotify, it works either way. This week's question of the week comes from a legend as far as the Bait Boys podcast lore goes. And you know, he's probably in the live chat right now. He may have showed up late. He does that sometimes, but that's okay. You got lives, right? I understand. But the one, the only, Instagram knows him as Dose Pups. YouTube knows him as Panfish Poppy. The Bait Boys know him as one of our biggest supporters to date and going forward. But yeah, he's got a great question here. Panfish Poppy, Dose Pups wants to know, how do you guys store your personal swim baits? What product or hack? And we're talking 1 ounce plus here. You know, to specify big swim baits. We don't have a guest, so who wants to go first? How do you store your swim baits? Anthony, I think you should go first as the what not to do.
I just want to say my wife FaceTimed me and I had to answer because she's upstairs with the baby. I want to make sure everything's all right. And she's freaking roasting me. That's what I was laughing at, looking at my phone, and then I just hung up on her. But anyway, how do I store
I didn't even notice.
Really? So that's good. I got a Napa box. It's like this big. It's got like a lid, and I just throw whatever I'm taking with me for the day in that box. No hook covers, nothing. If you want to bait durability tested, I'm gonna request sponsors right now. If you want anything durability tested, send it to me, and I will treat it like absolute garbage and see if it ever breaks. And a lot of times they don't, because I mean, they're quality stuff. But yeah, I don't really take care of anything. I'm not like putting it in a nice wool package and
those fall 76 wraps. Those are nice.
They're nice, but like, I'm just not doing that. I just throw it in a box and I'm going. When I'm fishing, I just put stuff in my pockets. Like I'll have 8-inch Glide hanging out of my cargo pant pocket because I didn't want to have a bag. So don't do what I do.
It's one way to do it. I guess there is no wrong way to do it. They're your baits. Do what you want with them.
I will.
Please do. Trevor, how do you manage your swim bait collection?
A bunch of ways. Some I care about, some I don't. But yeah, so here's a really easy, cheap, maybe about $30. Organize them, store them, really good at your house, in the back of your car, whatever. You can't take it around with you, but it works. The idea is not mine. I don't even know where I found it. But you can take a milk crate, okay? And it works, trust me. And it'll be less than $30. Buy the milk crate. It's $6, maybe $7 from Walmart. Who knows? All right. And then go to Lowe's, Home Depot, buy a 12-foot piece of gutter. Okay. Like gutter thing from the side of your house, a pipe, a spout, whatever the hell they're called. I'm a mathematician today, not a biomechanic.
Carpenter.
Oh, you're talking about like the downspout, like the tube.
No, I'm talking about like a 12-foot piece
actual
of gutter that goes
Oh, okay.
from the roof to the ground. Buy it. Cut it in lengths the size of your milk crate. Okay? You might need 2, but you can fill them up. And then you hang your baits in there by the hooks around the edges, and then you got them organized. Yeah, sometimes they tangle, but it's a lot better than throwing them in a Napa box. But not that I haven't done that, because I have a garbage bag, a paper bag in the back of my car, along with a cardboard box that my baits are sitting in, that I thumb through and wrestle them apart and everything else. But you know, when it's winter and I decide, hey, I need to clean and organize, my milk crate comes out and gets nicely hooked up, and here we are. But
Once
throughout
a
the
year.
season, they're a mess in the back of my car. Maybe twice.
Right.
That's fair.
I like that. I never heard that idea.
That's a great idea. I take one of 2 approaches, and it really depends on who made the bait. Because if it's one of my baits that I made, then it gets something like this. Maybe something like this. And there'll be 3 or 4 of them in there, and they get thrown in the boat because they're my baits. I made them. I have no reverence for them. I can make another one if I screw one up. Other people's baits, I do take a little more precautions. And I stumbled on this by accident. My wife has a severe addiction to pens and pencils. Don't ask me why or how, but she buys new pens and pencils, and then also things to keep those pens and pencils in. Well, she came across this, which is a mesh pencil case. And as you can see, there's a buoy shad in there. There's a Hun lure on this side. So it's got the zipper pouch, right? And it's all mesh. So if you put them, like, they can still dry if they're a little wet whenever you put them away. And it's got a little side pouch too. And you got a little Peak mini glide in there.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
So I think you can get them in a pack of 5 for $20. So $5 a piece. And they hold a few baits each. And they're not padded or anything, but it's enough. Like, it's a bait. It's a fishing lure, man. Like, come on, how much padding do you need? But it holds them all snugly and securely. Yeah.
And it fits in your pocket?
Yeah, you can fit in a pocket. You can fit, like, yeah, it's just a pencil case, a little mesh pencil case, all different colors. I have a pink one, you know.
That's wild.
So yeah, I take a little more care of other people's, and they have these little tie loops too, if you want to like tie them together and organize them or whatever.
I want
don't
the
know.
link
I've not
to
done that.
those. Please,
Let's
now,
see
thank
here.
you.
Let's see here. It is. I've got a pin with a ruler on it. So that's 4 inches, 8 inches. Yeah, 8 inches from end to end.
He said the link, you psycho.
I want the link. Where do I buy it?
Length. I heard length.
Link. Like
Link.
Zelda. Link.
He pulled out the pen with the ruler on it.
I did like where it went though.
I mean, that's a good thing to know if you want to, like, you know,
Yeah.
a 7-inch glide's going to fit in there. Wasn't a stupid response to the question. I just
I
can't
still
hear.
want the link.
I'll get you the link. I will get you the link. I'll get everybody the link. Hell, I'll put it in the description below.
I really like that. Joke aside, absolutely, like, I'm sold. Like, I think that's one of the best things I've seen of 2025.
And they're cheap. I mean, $5 a piece. That's with shipping.
I like that
on
it's
Amazon.
mesh. Like,
And they're 8 inches.
Yeah. So more than you could ever need. It's 8 inches long.
unless you
Triple verified. Anyway, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. And, you know, at certain points, it's been real fun. Can't say the last minute and a half's been great being picked on, but I think it's time we call it a night.
I
And
agree.
I'm gonna go pass out
and have some Springfield cashew chicken.
Oh yeah. I got to eat dinner still. I've got some leftover
Same.
Springfield style cashew chicken. If you
Margarita,
don't know what it is,
Pizza.
I gotta go fire that up right now.
what are you having for dinner, Trev?
Leftovers?
Well, leftover
Just
what?
leftovers.
Just whatever you find, whatever you can scavenge.
My wife made barbecue chicken yesterday. Today she took the barbecue. She's like, "You gonna eat it or am I gonna throw it away?" Of course, I'll eat it. So She doctored it up and put it in some kind of crunch wrap thing with some cheese on the outside and gave me instructions on how to warm it up when I get home. Like, I don't know. And it's going to be good.
That's elevated leftovers, my guy. That's not just run of the middle left. I'm glad I asked a follow-up question.
Oh yeah, she hooked it up. It's not the same way I ate it.
That's a whole new
yesterday.
meal.
It is. She's good.
Anywho, leave your questions of the week below. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. Thanks again to Giff Glidez for sponsoring this week's giveaway. Go get you this thing. Look at that. It's so cool. And yeah, prepare for the end of season 1 because it is fast approaching and I don't think it can happen too soon. I'm tired. I'm in a bad mood.
Sorry, Jesse.
But anyway, I appreciate your patience and I appreciate you for sticking through to the end. And as always,
I felt like
we'll see you next time.
Too. I like it.
I'm so tired.
That was good.
But for the first time, I felt like Jesse was talking directly to me right there.